Hello there, welcome to my views and news. I am back with another video. 4 news stories. First, in Tigray, a protest was held in Mekelle, Tigray, the capital. Who protested? In the last video, I mentioned the plight of TDF members and who protested, were the protesters TDF members, why are they protesting in Tigray? Secondly, fake pictures are being shared in social media by activist news outlets affiliated with Fano. I showed a picture in the last video of weapons, picture of weapons allegedly captured by Fano fighters. It seems that picture is not related to the conflict in the Amhara region. It is related to another conflict in an African country. Thirdly, third news story from the Oromia region of Ethiopia, from where a disturbing footage has emerged showing the plight of farmers. Do civilians have any rights in Ethiopia? Prosperity Party officials, Wareda district level officials, security level officials, are they held accountable? Are they answerable to anyone? I'll have a detailed look at what happened in Jimma, Oromia. And lastly, Eritrea. Eritrean President Afwerki is in Russia, along with other African leaders attending Russia-Africa summit. Today was day 2 of this summit. Afwerki spoke today. We have a clip of his speech. PM Abiy was not seen there. Afwerki was seated next to Al-Sisi, Egyptian president. Isaias was given a very prominent seat in the hall. Abiy was not seen there. PM Abiy was missing today. I could not spot him. Maybe he was there. What did Afwerki say? It seemed as if he was not only addressing Putin, the president, but he was addressing other African leaders too. Firstly, viewers, Mekelle, Tigray is the capital. In the last video, I mentioned that Tigray government had given only 6,000 Ethiopian birrs to each of the demobilized Tigray fighters. I said difficult, impossible for Tigray fighters to survive on 6,000 Ethiopian birrs. Their houses destroyed, their businesses destroyed, 6,000 birrs and a few kilos of wheat from local Wareda. That is what they got from this war. People commented. People said, Sajid, Tigray fighters fought for defense of Tigray. Yes, I agree. When people say that Tigray youth fought for defense, I agree that youths defend the territory. But those who are sitting in Europe and US should feel the misery of TDF members. They lost their loved ones, lost their limbs, disabled. Their entire community dependent on aid and no hope of any bright future. They were given just 6,000 birds and discharged. That is why they are protesting. And by the way, people contact me, not anti-Tigray elements, those who are from Tigray, who feel for these Tigray fighters. Tigray fighters themselves, they contact me. They say that they are in a difficult position financially. How are they going to survive? Their complaints, their grievances are very valid. When we share their complaints on this platform, purpose is that People should have awareness, especially living in diaspora, that Tigrayan fighters needs assistance. Ethiopian government should also realize that there is resentment in Tigray. That is why we've seen several protests by these Tigray fighters. Today as well, they protested in Mekelle, waving the piece of paper which was given to them, discharged from military, with 6,000 birds. They were saying that they cannot survive with 6,000 birds. And if they have been discharged, does it mean that they won't be able to receive anything from the government in future? So they are no more part of the military. That seems to be the case. That is why they are more worried. No pension, no monthly allowance. They were hoping that at least government should announce some monthly support for these disabled Tigray fighters. I don't think any monthly support has been announced. That is why they are more worried. Just 6,000 birds. So they are protesting. They are protesting against the government, against TPLF leadership, against Tigray military leadership. We'll see such frustration, such problems in Tigray. Because Tigray is in dire need of financial aid. World is neglecting Tigray now. This is the time to focus on Tigray. And believe me, if Tigray fighters are not helped, you will see another conflict in Ethiopia. More than 200,000 fully trained, skilled fighters. What will they do? They will be lured by elements, criminal elements, anti-government elements, maybe external elements too. That is why what is happening in Tigray, it should be a warning sign for a situation in future which could be hard to handle. This is the time to intervene. Ethiopian federal government is not committing resources, financial resources. Tigray seems to be on its own. That is why Getachew is in the US, talking to diaspora, begging the US lawmakers. He is there to get something for his people. He is not there on his personal agenda for some personal visit. But yes, I think federal government should be involved. Federal government should talk to Tigray fighters. They are not just members of a regional force. Intervention from some outside player is needed. Tigray interim government has limited resources. It is not in a position to give monthly assistance to these former TDF members. And still there are 200,000 active combatants not discharged so far. And can Tigray afford a new war now? No. Can Ethiopia afford a new war now? No. Already the baggage of this war is too heavy to handle. Let's hope that Amhara region-based groups also learn from what is happening in Tigray. War is not a solution. Second, it was fake pictures. Pictures not related to the insurgency in the Amhara region are being shared by some groups, some news outlets affiliated or backed with Amhara Fano faction. This morning I did a video. I showed you a picture. The picture showed weapons, guns, AK-47, mortars, RPGs. I said that Fano fighters had seized these weapons after fighting against Ethiopian National Defense Force. This picture is in circulation in social media too. Several news sources, activists have shared this picture. They claim that Fano fighters killed dozens of ENDF soldiers, and then these weapons were seized by Fano fighters. But the picture is not related to the insurgency in Amhara region. It was shared by a Congolese news source. In Congo, we know that a conflict has been ongoing for some time, internal conflict. Rwanda is allegedly involved too. I read some videos on that. So this picture is from Congo reportedly. But some Amhara activists are sharing this picture as if it is from the Amhara region. So my apologies. Problem is that we cannot geolocate each and every picture. Especially such pictures cannot be geolocated because there are no important buildings, etc. shown in the background, seen in the background, which help in geolocation. So it's almost impossible to geolocate these pictures. Only thing that you can do is that you can do some reverse image search, which sometimes does not work 100%. So that is why mistakes happen. But what matters is that we should make corrections. Purpose is to keep the viewers well informed. Picture is not related to the conflict in Amhara. This is the second time, by the way. If you remember, last month we did some videos showing some pictures which were being published as if they were, which were being shared as if they were from the Amhara region. But again, those pictures were not related to the conflict in the Amhara region. Thirdly, viewers, Oromia, where while we say that regional government officials, security officials in the Amhara region are part of the operation against Fano supporters being arrested since last year. Situation is not different in Oromia too. A disturbing footage is being shared in social media. It emerged yesterday, I think. The footage shows four peasants who were told to undress in front of a crowd. They were told to apologize. They were told to undress. They were beaten. They were humiliated in front of a crowd. It happened in Jima, Oromia, Jima, Gira district, Borcho Dika locality. Some prosperity party officials and security officials, they supervised this humiliation, this activity of humiliation which happened in this district. So they were there, a prosperity party head and a security head of the district. They were telling the farmers to undress, to apologize. They were beating them. So the victims were abused physically, psychologically too. What was their crime? The crime was that these farmers had paid taxes, land taxes. They were demanding receipts for their paid taxes. Receipts were not given to them, rather they were taken to a locality. People were called there. In front of the locality people, community, they were subjected to this humiliation. You see what is the culture. By culture, I mean the culture of relation between the ruling elite and the subjects. Ruling elite on city level, on community level, on district level is so powerful that it can humiliate, it can torture innocent people in front of a crowd, and crowd is silent too. Crowd could not oppose this humiliation. This is the disturbing part. For me, the most disturbing part is the silence of the people who were there. It means they were scared, frightened, terrorized. That is how we can sum up majority of people. The people are scared. And sometimes they keep on suffering, and sometimes they resort to violence because they think that legal remedies are not possible. So then they start joining Ola or Fano or other armed factions. There is injustice in the society. As long as there is injustice, you will see Fano will be there, Ola will be there, other armed groups will survive. They will continue their activities. Why? Because at the core of insurgency is injustice, perceived injustice or real injustice. But in this case, you can clearly see what happened to these poor farmers. Reportedly, warrant officials have been detained, but there would be dozens of such incidents happening and no one held accountable. These warrant officials have been detained because this matter this matter was highlighted through the leaked footage from the place of the occurrence of this incident. Otherwise, there would be several other such incidents happening, and no one is going to report. People scared. Lastly, was Eritrea-Russia relations. Eritrean President spoke at Russia-Africa Summit. Today was day 2 of this summit. PM Abiy was seen yesterday. He wasn't seen there today. I don't know where he was. Isaias Afwerki was seated next to Egyptian President Al-Sisi. He was seated in the middle of front row. So he was given a very prominent seat in the hall where Putin talked to African leaders. Isaias Afwerki addressed not only Putin but also the African leaders, as if he was trying to convince all of the leaders there that they should work jointly to realize the dreams and goals shared by Putin about Russia-Africa cooperation. Eritrea is a key ally of Russia, and now when free wheat is going to arrive in Eritrea from Russia in coming months, we could see stronger relations between Eritrea and Russia. Watch how Isaias Afwerki addressed Putin and the participants of the summit in St. Petersburg, Russia. Thank you for watching.
Plus the time frame for implementing this project. Once we have this document ready, the contribution from each and every partner at the continental level, on the part of the Russian Federation, plus other global partners who will join our effort to change the reality in Africa, because the coming generation after 25 years will have a population of 2.4 or 2.5 billion within the continent, and their issues will have to be addressed at an earlier phase rather than later on facing challenge for the implementation of this project. I think this second summit will have to take stock of the preparation of this document so that each and every one of us will be ready or even working on some of the projects that will need the mobilization of resources that we can make available to the success of this strategic summit. I once again would like to thank you, President Putin, for creating this conducive environment for exchanging ideas and developing consensus, but going beyond that to implementable, sustainable programs for the benefit of humanity, not only Russia and Africa. Thank you again.
Я полностью согласен. Если не...
I totally agree with you. If we don't think about short-term and mid-term,